Okay, hello again. We're gonna do simultaneous equations. Simultaneous equations, it is where we solve for x and y. And most of the time they give us two equations. They give us a longer equation and a shorter equation. And most of the time we use the shorter equation to find the equation 1 that we are gonna use to substitute on the second equation. Like for instance, we can find an equation like this. This is a typical exam question from 2016, I think. X minus 4y is equals to 5 and x squared minus 2xy minus 3y squared is equals to 0. This is equation 1. This is equation 2. Ne? But you know on the next step you're gonna say substitute 1 into 2. But here it is the situation. Because simultaneous equation, you must solve your equation so that you will have x it is equals to something or y it is equals to something. Not x minus something is equals to something, but x on its own or y on its own. So here is the situation here. We have x minus 4 is equals to 5. So we can solve it by taking this negative 4 to the other side so that it can be x it is equals to 5 plus 4y. This 4 was negative, so when it goes to the other side, it changes the sign and becomes a positive 4y. So it will be our new equation 1. Then this one, x squared minus 2xy minus 3y squared is equals to 0. It will be our equation 2. And okay, let's solve this one. Let's solve the simultaneous equation using equation 1. We are gonna substitute 5 plus 4y on the value of x. Where there is x, we substitute with 5 plus 4y. I hope you get it. Since we said x, it is equals to 5 plus 4y. Where there is x, we insert 5 plus 4y. Okay, here is it. Substitute 1 into 2. Substitute equation 1 into equation 2. Let's write it then. We're gonna say x squared minus 2xy minus 3y squared is equals to 0. Okay, then but x squared. So we said where there is x, we substitute with 5 plus 4y. So we are simply gonna say 5 plus 4y squared. We square it since our x was x squared. Then you say minus. So this is the challenge. Here is the challenge now. This is 2xy. So we have our value for x here. So you will be confused, you guys, when you will say 2, then 5 plus 4y, then y again. So you'll be confused. You will not know how to expand this thing. So to make things easier, you can simply say minus 2y multiplied by x, which is 5 plus 4y. You see, this method is gonna be easy for you. You'll be confused if you say 2 times 5 plus 4y multiply again by y. You'll be confused. Then we continue saying minus 3y squared is equal to 0. Let's solve this one. 5 plus 4y squared, we can write it somewhere here. Let's do it here. 5 plus 4y, 5 plus 4y, 5 times 5, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, it is 25. Then 5 times 4, 5, 10, 50, 20, it is 20 plus 20y. 4y times 5, it is 20y again. Then 4 times 4, it is 16. Then y times y, it is a y squared, so it will be plus 16y squared. Okay, then let's check the like terms. Here are the like terms, 20y plus 20y, which is gonna give us 40y. Then here we are gonna say 25 plus 40y plus 16y squared. Then we are continuing. Negative 2 times a positive, it is a negative. So it will be negative 2y times 5, which is gonna give us negative 10y. A negative times a positive is a negative, so it will be negative 2y times 4y. Negative 2 times 4, it is 8, so it will be negative 8y squared minus 3y squared. Everything equals to 0. Okay, let's do the like terms. Let's check. We start with the numbers that are squared. 1, 2, and 3. You see, they are the like terms. So you're gonna simply say 16y squared minus 8y squared minus 8y squared minus 3y squared. Let's go again. Let's go to the 40s. Plus 40y, then 40y, negative 10y. Let's check another one. Oh, it is not there, so we'll simply say minus 10y. Then go to the numbers. When we check the number, it is only 25 here, so you're gonna say plus 25. Everything equals to 0. Let's work then. We are gonna simply say 16 minus 8 minus 3, which is gonna give us 5. You see, 16y squared minus 8y squared minus 3y squared, which is gonna give us 5y squared. So it will be 5y squared. Then 40 minus 10, it is 30, so it will be plus 30y. Then plus 25 equals to 0. You see, you can divide everything by 5 so that it will be y squared plus 6y plus 5, but let's just do it like this. So here it is our equation, which is a trinomial. 5y squared plus 30y plus 25 equals to 0. Let's use our quadratic equation. X sorry. When you are doing a quadratic equation, it is not always x. You must check what we are solving for. Now we are solving for y, so we'll say y it is equals to negative b plus minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Like, you'll not always say x it is equals to something. Pelamanje, we are solving for y, so we'll say y is equals to the quadratic equation. We are solving for y manje. Then you're gonna say y it is equals to negative, what is our b? It is 30 plus or plus or minus 30 squared minus 4. What is our 1? It is 5. What is our c? 25. What is our a value there? It is 5, so it will be 2 times 5. Then we are gonna say y it is equals to, or y it is equals to that. Let's do it now. Let me quickly do the equation. I will come back now. Okay, when I used my quadratic equation, it said our y1 it is y1 it is equals to negative 1. Okay, so let's do our y2 for the negative side, or when you are saying negative here, when you're subtracting here. Negative 5. But we know that x it is equals to 5 plus 4y. That is what we know. Now, since we solved for y, we must also solve for x using the very same equation, because it is an easier equation to use. As I told you, we must solve for x and y. So we are gonna write our equation. X1 is equals to 5 plus 4y. Then 5 plus 4. What is our first answer? Our first value for y1, it is negative 1, so it will be negative 1. On y, we are gonna put our value of y. Then we are gonna simply put it on the calculator and say 5 plus 4 times -1, which is gonna give us 1. Our x it is equals to 1. Let's do our x2 is equals to 5 plus 4y. 5 plus 4 times -5, which is gonna give us -15. Then we have solved for x and y. We have our values for x and y. Firstly, when you are doing a simultaneous equation, you must check your two equations, ne? Then when you are done checking your two equations, ne, make sure that you find an equation that is saying y it is equals to something or x it is equals to something. Then use that equation and substitute where like if you said y is equals to something, where there is y on the other equation, substitute with the equation you used there for the equation 1. Then substitute, expand, multiply things, check signs. Please don't forget to check signs and group like terms. Then make sure you have a trinomial if it is there, or a difference of two squares. It will depend on what you get. Then use the quadratic formula. Then get your values for y or x, then find your values again for y or x. But please, if you get a decimal on simultaneous equation, know that you made a mistake, whether on expanding or whether on the signs or wherever, but check your workings. If you get an integer above 1 to 100 or above 1 over 2, 1 over 3, we are still correct. But if you find yourself getting a decimal, you are wrong, unless they said you must correct to do decimal place. But if the question didn't say correct to do decimal place, know that you are wrong. So yeah, just know that. Let me find another question which is based on exponents while solving for these things. Let me quickly look for it now. Okay, here it is, the equation. I just found it. It is saying 3 to the power of y it is equals to 81x, and y it is equals to x squared minus 6x plus 9. I told you that check your two equations and don't forget that you are solving for x and y. So kuma exponents, ne, I am gonna send another video tomorrow about exponents. Kuma exponents, you must make sure that you make same basis. So you are gonna say 3 to the power of y it is equals to, let's check the simpler value for 81. When you are finding when you are taking numbers to its simplest value, you write the number, then say it is equals to, then you say shift, then you press those dots there. You see these dots, then they give you the simplest value, which is 3 to the power 4. So it will be 3 to the power 4. But don't forget that we have x though, so it will be multiplied by x. So when you are writing it in a simplest form, it will be 3 to the power 4x. Then it will be 3 to the power of y. Know that same basis cancel. So you know that 3 will cancel 3. Therefore, you know that your y is equals to 4x. I know that my y it is equals to something. Then I'm done. Now I'm going to solve this one. You see, let me solve this one. I know that my y is equals to 4x, so I'm gonna sub 1 into 2. So y is equals to, this is our equation 1, then that is our equation 2. So y is equals to x squared minus 6x plus 9. Okay, then on our y we insert 4x, or we substitute 4x. 4x it is equals to x squared minus 6x plus 9. This one is easier. It doesn't want us to go there and there, so I think I will love it. So simply take 4x to the other side, so that it will be x squared is 0 equals to x squared minus 6x plus 9 minus 4x. Now do like terms, x squared minus 6x like terms. X squared doesn't have a like term, but 6x has a like term, which is negative 4x. So it will be negative 6x negative 4x plus 9. So it will be still be 0 equals to x squared. Then let's check. minus 6 minus 4, it is negative 10. So it will be negative 10x plus 9. So when you're gonna write it, it will be like x squared minus 10x plus 9. We know that this is our A, this is our B, this is our C. Make sure that your number with a square, that is squared, it is the first number. Then kulandele the number with a coefficient of x, or an x or a variable on itself, and then lastly kube a number. Then still, you know, quadratic formula, our best friend, x equals to negative b plus. Okay, check. Now we are solving for x, so we are gonna say x equals to the quadratic formula, plus minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Then I'm gonna say x, it is equals to negative 10 plus minus negative 10 squared minus 4 ac 9 over 2 where is it, 2 1. Then our x, it is equals to, let me solve it. I just solved it. Our x, our first value for x, it is 9, or x equals to, let me check it when I'm saying minus, it is 1. So now we have our values for x, and for our values for x, and it, sorry, this must be equals to 0. So we must find the values for x, but y, it is equals to 4x. Now we want the value for y. We'll simply say y, it is equals to 4x. Then y, it is equals to y1, it is equals to 4. Where there is x, we add, we substitute our first value for x, which is 9. Then 4 times 9, 4 times 9, it is 36. Our y1 is equal to 36. Then let's find our y2. y2 is equal to 4x. 4 times 1 is equals to 4.